And still testing the broadcast. Waiting for the broadcast to be published. If we're live, it's because YouTube has lied to me. Now I'm live. Good afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Todd Standing. This is my Discovering Bigfoot live show. Haven't coughed all day. As soon as I get on the air, my throat starts tickling and I want to cough. But I've been talking all day too, so I don't know. It's pretty annoying. Anyway, it's going to be a fun show. I'm looking forward to the absolutely... I have to go back and rewatch these shows to remember the incredibly challenging questions that have absolutely blown my mind. Hello, Amanda. Hello. That's new. Must be an English thing. Or maybe it's hello. Hello. That's the way they say it. Is that how you say it? Amanda's got a bit of an English accent. Actually, it's not very thick, though, is it? So... on Facebook, there were some questions that I liked. I didn't get to all of them. I was away to Vancouver Island. Now I'm back home, and I've just been running to get things organized because oh my God, with the COVID and all the American expeditioners that can't come now, it's just been a disaster. So I'm switching. I'm Canadians. This is your time to shine. We only were doing 20%. Now it's got to be all Canadian. I don't even think I can. People from Australia and the UK. And even there's some people from Iceland that want to come. I don't think that any of that's going to work out. So we'll see. But it's so far it's looking all Canadian this year. That's all I can do is Canadian. So if you're Canadian, you want to come on an expedition, now's the time to get a hell of a deal. So because I really want to get out there. So anyways, so lady on Facebook was talking. So I was mentioning before, questions are going out of control here. That's awesome. I was mentioning before that the Sasquatch pulled rocks up right out of the sphagnum moss and stacked them, and they weren't digging around for it. And the lady did some looking and found that rocks have a geothermal signal. Now, I have a strong feeling, a strong intuition that it's literally that. The Sasquatch are feeling the energy of the rocks. I'm just telling you, just the evidence and all that I've seen and how exceptional they are. Can you imagine if I'm correct, and if this is my hypothesis, that they can actually feel the energy where the rocks are, and like a metal detector. I mean, I have no other explanation how they just pulled the rocks right out of the ground. These rocks were 6 to 12 inches in the earth. How could you couldn't possibly... I think it's far less likely they were feeling around, and there'd be marks of them feeling around. It just looked like they just walked straight up to it, pulled the rock straight out, and even potentially you could say knew the right size of rock. Is that crazy? Yeah, really, like there are all kinds of weird rocks, all kinds of shapes. To find exactly a rock that was the right size and even the right shape and pull it straight out of the ground, it's an incredible feat. You can't take these small pieces. You have to look at these things logically and really go, wow. If they're doing what I think they're doing, they're so incredible. They're such an amazing species. And I keep bumping in this. Believe me, I've tried to be skeptical. I've been looking at it for years. I did that with tree breaks. I did that with structures. I did it with those upside down trees that are jammed in. I take years and years. There's 2 or 3 more things I'm thinking about right now that they're doing that I'm totally confused by. But this rock thing happened many years ago. And I went out there with other expeditioners, highly intelligent human beings. We all looked and thought and deduced, and we just have any other explanation for it. So another question: alien genetic engineering. Well, I would think that the Sasquatch are far less likely to be genetically engineered by aliens than we are. I know I've been looking and it's curious. I don't know anything about it other than just what I've seen in videos that people are saying that there was a certain time it looks like aliens landed and then they infused our DNA and changed it. I don't know. And you know what? That's far more reasonable than having to deduce that something like that had happened to Sasquatch, because they just are so indigenous. They're the indigenous wilderness surviving species. They have no technology, none. They just survive in perfect equilibrium, like a deer and a bear. It's brilliant. So I would think they're far less likely to have any kind of engineering. They just seem to be the indigenous cold weather primate, cold weather bipedal, intelligent, most advanced hominid specifically in the world today. So based on the evidence, it's not even an opinion, just based on the evidence and the facts, I strongly feel about that. Another person mentioned about gifting. I gift them with apples. Have you ever been able to gift them with sentiments? No. I've had guys come out and have these interactions with the female Sasquatch, which was a little uncomfortable for me, but they were just loving the female Sasquatches, and they were coming around a little more. It was Jonathan and Stefan. They both of them, and they were having the same ideas and the same thoughts, and they don't even know each other. They were on expeditions, months apart. They were giving her flowers and talking about their girl, and that their girl was watching. And I just let people have their inspirations, and but she didn't take anything. The only thing, because the Sasquatch have left me stuff. They made a little crown of twigs that had berries in the middle. I ate the berries, but I didn't take the crown of twigs. I wish I'd done that. At the time I was I was just like, that can't be done by a Sasquatch, and the twigs were all like wrapped really nicely. I didn't keep it. And I don't know where the photograph of it is, but you know what they do? And I've tried to leave them lots of stuff. They just never seem to want it. And one thing they left me too that was really cool was an acorn, just a weird looking kind of mutated a spruce tree acorn, and I kept it. It was definitely put there by a Sasquatch, 100%. They took the berries off the rock that I'd left, and they left that, and it was standing up in a weird spot, and there were Sasquatch tracks there. And it was in the middle of nowhere. No human beings had been around there. And so I still have that. I consider that that's very sentimental to me, because the Sasquatch, and there were expeditioners there too that witnessed that too. It was definitely done by a Sasquatch for me. And because they took only the berries that I put out, the other expeditioners put berries. We picked indigenous berries and put them out. They only took mine, and you could see that the Sasquatch had walked in right to where my spot was, took my berries only, and then walked out away from everybody else's. So that was interesting too. But what they did do, which was crazy, and they used to tear chunks of hair out from me. They would sneak up with me at night, and they would rip a chunk of hair out, and it would hurt. And they did that often. And I talked to primatologists. Apparently orangutans and gorillas do that with long blonde hair is what I used to have. And so what I started to do was I would go up the mountain with an extra elastic. And so I would take because I had my hair in a ponytail a lot, and I would take the elastic out and I would leave it on a branch. I even did this with Survivor Man. I didn't tell Survivor Man because it was my own thing. But so I would leave that up over by a specific tree, and it always gets taken every single time. 100% of the time that got taken, and they stopped tearing my hair out after that, whoever was doing it. So it seems they took that sediment from me anyways, but they never accepted anything that I know of. And then someone asked me about, do they store food? Yes, absolutely. I've seen them. Randy Brisson took me up to a spot where I could see Sasquatch tracks all over the mountain. What they were doing is when the salmon spawned, they would take the salmon up at altitude into the permafrost, wrap them in sphagnum moss, and put these salmon. So they were storing food. I couldn't believe it, but interesting to think maybe they would do that with elk too, possibly, and deer, right? And then the last question from Facebook, and I'll start answering your questions here, guys, is do tree breaks? This was from Frank, and he asked me, can I identify a troop or a group of Sasquatch by tree breaks they make? And the answer is no. The tree breaks all, I thought at times I was seeing a style, and it's not something I was able to identify as, in a graph or in mathematics, in any kind of science, but there felt like there was a style to different troops of Sasquatch, but I couldn't put my finger on it, and it was it's just something I've been thinking about for a long time, because just as an example, the Survivor Man episodes were filmed in Nordegg, Alberta, and Radium, British Columbia, and there was a different style, but I felt it more than I couldn't put my finger on it. I talked to Les about that too a lot. Les was just trying to get his head wrapped around the tree breaks being from Sasquatch. And I'd been years just thinking about the different styles. And then in California, I never saw any tree breaks. There was Sasquatch there and the people there. And then I tried to make a little tree break, and I saw the trees were like rubber. You could like spin them and they just wouldn't break. So maybe they can't, because the wood is different in California as opposed to a little further north up into Oregon and into Washington. The wood starts to change where those trees, you can snap them and they have that brittleness to them. So the wood's harder, but it's brittle and it breaks. It's not, is it ductile is the word? I think ductile is bending with metal. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. I'm looking at it, but because every yeah, I just haven't been able to deduce anything like that. And then when I see all through British Columbia, Washington State, with Larry, the guy I went into Washington with, the tree breaks looked exactly like, they looked more like the Nordegg Alberta Sasquatch than the Radium Sasquatch. So in fact, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the Nordegg tree breaks and the Washington State in Nia Bay. The Olympic Peninsula is where I was doing that work. I couldn't tell the difference. The breaks looked just so much the same. And then same thing, the upside down trees, they just look this. I haven't seen any differences in those. So Stephen and Benjamin, of course Amanda's on. Hey everybody, how's it going? Lots of highs. Hello from Cape Cod. Wow, that's cool. Hello from the UK. Greetings from Thermal, California. I gotta get that California Bigfoot movie done. Oh my god, I got the everybody wants me to. There's so much work that and I know there's so many people trying to get a hold of me, and I'm working all hours of the day, doing everything I can. There's so much work to be done. I know. Please be patient. I'm getting back to everybody. Just I have a list and I'm going through it. I basically just stay up until I fall asleep and wake up and go back to work. So Washington State, thank you so much, Mark. SoCal, how's it going? Stephen, hey, have you heard of throat singing? Yes. Les Stroud is a professional singer, and he was helping me with making Sasquatch sounds and stuff like that. I wonder how Sasquatch would react to it. Oh, you're talking about that. Yeah, you're talking about that. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah. I wouldn't want to do that, because primatologists and Todd Standing and all of Todd Standing's expeditioners, when a Sasquatch comes around, we talk very nice. We're like, hi, and I don't care how that sounds to anybody. Sasquatch are enormous and monstrously terrifying when they want to be. Even when they're trying to be nice, they bash and smash and crash. It's just their way because they're big giant primates. And so I just talk real nice to them. I would never do that. I would never get growly back at them. I would never do that. So I know what you're talking about, the throat singing now. The answer is I would never be. That would be crazy. So I don't growl at them. I would never do that because they're just so intimidating as it is. And I'm trying to. It works with primates. It works with gorillas and chimpanzees when people talk gently to them. It's primatologists do that. Hi, and I tell them my name, and I try to keep the conversation simple. I'm Todd, and I call them my friend, and you're my friend, and I talk nice like that. So and it's it is what it is. Is it working? I'm having pretty good success. So Stephanie Bristol says she's so happy to be watching live. That's awesome. Stephanie, this is your chance to give me one of those amazing questions. What's cracking? Hey, Arthur. I'll make some eggs tomorrow for breakfast just because you said that. Hi, Todd. Greg from Indiana. Wonder, do you think that they Sasquatch can cycle like women? Oh, absolutely. What he's talking about is human females have monthly cycles, right? And gorillas do that. Chimpanzees do that. Orangutans do that, and Sasquatch do that. In case you don't know, gorillas at the zoo, every morning the female gorillas, they give them a fruit juice and they put a birth control pill in it. That's how they control gorillas and chimpanzees breeding at the zoo. They'd be babies all over the place, right? They control the breeding by keeping and they give them human birth control pills. It's the same as people take, and the same monthly cycles. And if you know about, horses and dogs and any kind of, animal, they have like a season. A dog comes in a season twice a year, every 6 months. And all wildlife out here, I mean, they breed, so the babies are born in the spring. So if they have a 3-month gestation, they'll breed late. If they have like a bear, a long gestation, they'll breed earlier. That's why the males have deer have ruts, because they'll breed with the females, so the baby is born in the springtime, because it has to be that way, because the baby has to grow in the spring and get as strong as it can over the summer and fall to survive the winters. That's how hard it is out here. And that baby better be born early and better grow strong and fast, otherwise it will not survive the winters out here. These are harsh environments, and animals are survival of the fittest, highly intelligent, non-domesticated. Domestication makes you dumb and lethargic and weak. And it was even learning that about plants. I have a really a wonderful friend in Alaska, and she was even telling me about how if you take a plant and you grow it in a garden, it becomes weak because it doesn't have to struggle to survive. Its roots won't go as deep. It's not as strong, as it won't give you as much nutrients. Leave it in the wild. Let it struggle. Let it survival of the fittest. You want the toughest, awesomest, deepest roots, best surviving plant. That's the one you want to get your medicine from. Isn't that amazing? And it's just so logical. So that's what's wrong with our species is everybody survives. Everybody, there is no survival of the fittest anymore. We're completely domesticated. And that's a big problem, ladies. And I've been talking about that a lot. And the more I talk about it, like this woman in Alaska, man, she's just tough and brilliant. I just think she's absolutely amazing. And she could really survive off the land. She's talking about how she's gonna get her moose, and so in the winter the snow is so deep, it's 8-9 feet deep. They have to go down the roadways. And then she says, and when a truck comes, the moose have to come into her yard if she opens the gate. So she just leaves the gate open. And when a truck comes and a moose is going down that road, they actually can't jump off the road because they could sink and die and suffocate. The snow is so deep. So they'll turn into her yard, and she's just gonna sit there with a gun and there's my moose. So it's how, Alaska's harsh, man. You got to survive, and there's a lot of moose out there. So I love these things. When she's got lots of Sasquatch stuff going on. I should talk about this. This is Shelly. Man, Shelly is so awesome. She's such a good colleague of mine. And we made a big discovery in our discussions. It just, you start talking, and what I love is the more you talk with people that are honest and truthful, the more truth comes out. So she lives there's a creek, and the bears and the salmon, and there's all kinds of food sources all over the place. And she's got lots of stuff to talk about with her Sasquatch. But one thing that was really cool is the bears never go to the one particular side of the creek. And on that side, and I told her, I said, well, you can, this came up because you can know Sasquatch habitat because the bears won't go there. They'll go around it. They'll avoid that area. That's a big indicator, right? And she goes, oh my God, across the creek where all the tree breaks are, the bears never go there. And she has bears like crazy. This is Alaska. I mean, the salmon are spawning there. She's got dozens of bears. They never go to the other side of that creek where all the tree breaks are and where the Sasquatch are because Sasquatch habitat. And that is so significant. That is horrifically significant. You must understand how awesome that is. And the more I talk to her, the more we just discover and move forward. And it's like that with all the people that I have long-term colleagues. I guess I call it mentorship because I'm really working with them. And I love the truths that come out and the discoveries that you make when you talk to these. I'm such a fortunate person to have all these incredible people to work with. I have such a wonderful life, and thank you guys so much for supporting me and allowing me to be a full-time Sasquatch researcher. So when this discovery gets done, and if my cooperation, if the Discovering Bigfoot cooperation had anything to do with that discovery, then you did, and you're responsible for this success by asking good questions, by tuning in, by watching these videos, by telling people about what's going on here. It matters, guys. It really matters. Thank you so much. Matt Mileage. Hey, Todd. Love your research and your sightings. Keep trekking. I hope all's good for your expeditions. Thank you very much. Dina says, what's the Bigfoot favorite treats to give as a token, Todd? I don't know, Dean. I just gave them apples, and they took them from time to time. So, and I give them strawberries. I found the best success with apples, and even just the way I placed the apples, so that it was important that the ravens and the crows can't get it, because they're buggers. They'll get things. I mean, they'll go after those. I've seen them grab a whole apple and fly away. So I'm always trying to make it so even the elk will come along and stand on their hind legs and steal it. So that's why apples, I could take them and puncture them into a branch. So I would take, if this was a branch, I would break that branch off, and then I'd jam the apple into the end of it, jam it in there, and then I would make it so it was upside down and under the tree, right? So if this was the branch, I'd put it where a bird would have trouble getting to it, and high enough up where a bear couldn't reach it. And well, a bear could always get it, but he'll climb the tree and leave marks. So I just want to make sure I had those indicators. And I was doing this in Sasquatch habitat. I never had a bear take one time the Sasquatch put salmon on the tree, and the baddest ass man-eating bear came for it, and I had that whole incident where I was filming them and the bear attacked me and all that stuff. But and that was the Sasquatch's mistake, not mine. I didn't put salmon on a tree. That was unbelievable that they did that. They took apples off a tree and they put salmon in it for me, and that I didn't see because they put them up high and they were in a weird spot. I smelled them after, though, and I saw that there was the evidence of that they jam the salmon the same way I put the apples on. They jam these little salmon on. It was Kootenai salmon, so they weren't really big, but yeah. So it's just apples seem to work the best. I used strawberries, big strawberries. They didn't grab. And you know the strawberries. I realize, you know, the strawberries that we buy in stores, they're monstrously domesticated things, and they're very. You bite in them, and they're like very watery and airy. They're almost like. It's like foam expanded is the way they feel compared to the real natural. And those real strawberries, man, when you pick wild strawberries, they punch your mouth. They just have like power packed nutrients and flavors. And I'll tell you, the expeditioners that I've taken out, when the guys that come out for strawberry season, oh my God, just get lost in the strawberry. Oh my God, especially when they learn to track strawberries. That's a tracking skill, when you can recognize the leaf and you know there's a strawberry plant there, and you go underneath and there's a strawberry. It's a wonderful thing to learn, and they're just so addictive, you know. And then I know this is strange to people, but we go to the bathroom up there, and we lift up the ground, or you know, tear up a hole, then we go in it, we cover it. Now that grows strawberries, you know. I had the spot in Nordegg. We had a bathroom area, and people were eating so much bearberries, strawberries, low bush cranberries, you know, snowberries. They were eating so much of it that after a couple years, the whole area was just full of all these berries, right? And people go, oh, let's go eat everything. They go, nah, we're not. Leave that for the animals. Well fertilized berry bushes of all kinds. And it's weird too, because that was the only area I ever saw that literally had strawberries, bearberries, low bush. It had every kind of berry, and that's not normally. You get into an area, there's strawberries, and maybe there'll be some low bush cranberries. And then, you know, it mixes up more. This area has everything. It's just like, so yeah, it's pretty funny. But it's nice to be contributing to the ecosystem. That's the way it's supposed to be, guys. That's why the berries are there, because we're not supposed to flush them down the toilet and wash it into sewage. That's not nature. That's unnatural. So, Gamgunk Gaming. Okay, tree knocks. Would they make such loud noises when they have such high instincts? Seems they would need to expose their location in order to find others. Would they? I don't know what the question is. They do tree knocks. Well, I'll tell you one. Actually, I think they do that, and they do it once. One time, this is the rule in nature. One time tells you I'm in that general area. 2 times tells you I'm precisely here. And I do that with the Sasquatch. 3 times tell you that you're crazy and stay away from me. There's something wrong with me mentally. So just do 2. Don't do more than that. So if you sit there banging on it, they're just gonna think you're crazy. What does it matter? Why does he keep banging? You know, is he got a mental disorder? Has he got anxiety? Is he suffering from some sort of Tourette syndrome? Why does he keep banging on that tree? That's what I guarantee you. That's what they think. Like, what does it matter with this guy? They're gonna stay away from you. Do that stuff. So, Todd, is there a symbolic relationship between Sasquatch and Coyotes? Somebody was just talking to me about that today. I think the Sasquatch run off the Coyotes a lot. I've seen evidence of them running off the Coyotes. So. The relationship I see is a natural relationship, and I think the reason I'm seeing this is coyotes are highly intelligent. So I was hired to kill coyotes in a particular region of Alberta. I couldn't do it because they just are too much like dogs, and it hurt my heart to kill them like that. But the reason they're so problematic around cities is because they're so damn smart, and they're so highly adaptive, highly adaptive. And I think they bug the Sasquatch sometimes. There'll be little sneaks, and they're like the jackals of the North American woods. It's very. I have a lot of respect for them. You can't trap them. You trap them once, and they know the smell of traps. They're so hard to get rid of. Basically, the way they get rid of them is hiring someone like me to go kill them and hunt them, and I just have to keep hunting them and killing them over and over using, you know, my ghillie suits and stalking techniques, right? So, because they're just so adept and intelligent, I think the Sasquatch are chasing them off, and they kind of consider them, you know, bothersome just because they're so damn smart. You know, they're going to be even imagine what about a burial area? You know, if Coyote's going to be a little brat and go dig on that or something, right? Or I don't know. Maybe they have a carcass that they're eating, and they don't want, you know, wolves are respectful of Sasquatch, clearly to me. Wolf packs don't mess with They stay away from the elk herds that are guarded by the Sasquatch. Bears are afraid of Sasquatch, and bears that are not get their ass whooped by a Sasquatch. Sasquatch lives matter. Oh, Todd, have you ever left anything man-made like donuts or cake? No, I wouldn't. That's poison. I would never do that. You must understand how poisonous that crap is. And I think it's very disrespectful for people that do that. You must understand the Sasquatch eat pure, drink pure. They get their sugar from their berries, get their fat from lean animals. You know how hard it is to get fat out of like elk and deer? They're very lean. So, they work very hard for their fat. If they ate stuff like that, oh my God, that's just, I know we're desensitized, but that crap is poisonous as hell. It's very, very poisonous. I would never do that, ever. It's meant to also addict you. They call it the bliss point. You should look into this stuff with the cakes and crap. They make that so you're goddamn addicted to it. You have to keep eating it. It's like the crack of food. And people are addicted to it, and it's a horrible thing. And I would never harm the Sasquatch like that. Candida poisoning and all the crap that us domesticated human beings get, I would never, never. I think apples are sweet enough, So, Royal Creations, see Sasquatch, check it out on YouTube. Okay, thank you. Dean says, I will try it. Take the clear marbles, seem to like them. Yeah, I have a thing that I tell, I mean, whatever works for you, good, but I think Sasquatch fear technology. It's something I talk to my expeditioners about a lot. And marbles and glass and mirrors is all technology stuff, and so I would never try to give that. I think when I left an axe in a spot on a trail, and the Sasquatch walked like 5 yards around it. That's how I think they feel about technology. I couldn't figure out why the hell there's an axe right beside the trail that I left there. And the Sasquatches, they walked way around it in just this one spot. They'd walk around, and they did it for years. I left that axe there for years, and I was like, man, they're just like staying away from it, They just were afraid of it. And I see that. So, so Andy's asking me how to get their hair. Well, look at the Survival Man Bigfoot episodes. What I did, I found there's little beggar's lice things they're called. It's a little tree plant that sticks to you, and I just found big ones and glued them to a tree, and then the Sasquatch rubbed against it, and that's one way I got hair samples. So yeah, that works. Oh, we're doing northbigfoot@gmail.com. Okay. Holy sweeten. What do you think they do with their dead? Just speculating. I've talked about it lots. They just bury them or do something with them. But I don't know. So Dean again. Got to be rare to get anything like hair, but I'd love to get something. Yeah, it's hard, but do the best you can. Okay, John Peel, sorry, can't wait to tell you to go meet Mel. Yeah, I talked to, if Mel watches this, call me Mel. Thank you, Steve. I don't know if there's another clan in the area, but the ones I know have only made one tree break. Huh. Interesting. Jesse says, Todd, they're sending your hair in to be yeah. Oh, that's funny. They're sending my hair off to the Sasquatch up in northern Alaska, where they put it in the sun and they do a thing with it and stretch it and test it. And yeah. Benjamin says, hi Todd, not sure if this question has been asked before, but what do you charge? Just go to my website, discoveringbigfoot.org, and you go to the expeditions page and all the information's there. Hi Todd, investigating a very remote sighting last week. I found numerous medium large stones carefully moved aside to reveal soft, warm, earthy spots in the turf. Could this be a sign of Sasquatch? You need more than that. That's not enough. You need more. Always, when if I'm in an area and I see a Sasquatch, they're there. If I'm in an area and I see tracks and I see tree breaks and I find structures, I kind of look for the magic 3 pieces of evidence to make me lean heavily towards them. And but when I see a track though, as a tracker, it's over. If I see a track and that's a Sasquatch track, like when I was in California and I saw a Sasquatch track, it was over. There's Sasquatch there. Have a nice day. But if you don't have that level of expertise, because even like especially with snow, there's meltouts and there's weird things that can happen. Even in mud and stuff, some people get fooled by the bear track where the front leg steps down and the rear leg steps right behind it. People get confused by that a lot. So, rabbit hole. Somebody's talking. I heard that a lot. Upside down tree. Oh, the geothermal deep beneath the ground. Yeah, this is. I had the same question that I talked about at the beginning of the show. A type of energy is given off signals like that of an electric fence. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. And thank you for doing that little bit of research. So, John, Todd, what vocalization of Sasquatch have you heard being around humans? Not much. No words. No, they never talk. I've never heard that gibberish that people. I think that's bad evidence, to be honest. So it's not even evidence, because if a man can do it, what you know? Like, I could do that. So I really think it's like the lowest bad evidence. If that's what you got, if you're saying, hey, Sasquatch are there, because I have a recording of what sounds exactly like a man talking gibberish, and I don't know, I just don't like it. So it bothers me. I've never heard Sasquatch. It sounds ridiculous. So I've never heard Sasquatch. I've never talked to somebody who was really authentic and had real evidence and told me that Sasquatch did that. Not to say it doesn't happen, but just I have no experience with that from anybody that I've ever found. I look at a guy and I go, wow, you got real good tracks, good breaks, nice evidence of some kind. You've got a hair sample that's amazing. And then you heard that. I've never heard that. And you know what? If the Sasquatch are that close where you can hear that, go get more evidence. What? Go get some more. If they're talking to you, go get more evidence. It's, that's what I have to say about that. Love is the way to go for sure. Yeah, love is the way. Love. I'm a loving guy. Andy, Todd, in your opinion, what percentage of Sasquatch is human versus percentage is primate ape? I don't think I wouldn't call them ape. I mean, we're primates, right? So, they're, you know what they are, Andy, is they're a more advanced hominid. They're like, remember the DNA, it's always backwards, so it goes orangutan, gorilla, chimpanzee, human, Sasquatch. So the Sasquatch are further away from the great apes, or if they're a great ape, but from the gorillas and the chimpanzees that are our closest relative, they're further away than we are. So when they mix with us, they're mixing with the next closest, and we're hominids. Percentage-wise, low, I would think. Really low, I hope. So, I even, but I don't know for sure. I don't want to speculate on that stuff too much. It's there. It's on the female mitochondria side only. Male Sasquatch have bred with human females only. And survived to breed back into the population. Other than that, I don't know. Is that still happening? I have no idea. What was happening with Ina? What was Kubota trying to do? So, But anyway, hi Todd. I think you have a gift, my friend. Thank you. My gift is just I cooperate and I work hard. So what's your intake on the missing 411? I know about one 411 case that's absolutely legit. So, and I think he works hard, and I'm grateful for his work. And I like the way he does things. From what I've seen of it, I even like the way he never really seems to say Sasquatch. He's just like, this is really strange. It's odd. It doesn't make sense. So, he seems to be very detailed, and I appreciate his honesty and his candor. I really do. I think it's awesome. But it's very different from me because I'm not. Whoa, just skip down too much. I'm not studying. That's the bad Sasquatch. That's like studying bear attacks. No, you don't do that when you're interacting with Sasquatch. I don't study how Sasquatch steal people and kill people. Nope. You must understand how that would affect me if I'm so focused on the evil stuff that Sasquatch possibly might be doing, stealing children. It's not, how could I ever take my son back out in the wilderness, And if you want to look at it from this perspective, there's tens of thousands of bears where I live in Canada, through Alberta and British Columbia, and there's a dozen attacks every year. So you're literally getting 99% of bears are never attacking people. And if that's the numbers, 99% of mountain lions don't attack people. 99.9% of wolves have never attacked a human being unprovoked. So going focusing on the attacks is almost preposterous, because you're focusing on 1% or less of the creatures. It's not that's not a good research, is it? So, and believe me, I've been to spots where the Sasquatch are mad and pissed off at me. I leave. Bye bye. I don't know if they're going to kill me or not, but I tell people that if the Sasquatch are angry and they're not chilling out and they're constantly ticked off at me and they're being aggressive with me, I leave. I go, and that happens 70% of the time. I go to a research area and the Sasquatch just won't calm down. They won't accept me. They're just always angry, and I leave. So, and that's what makes this frustrating, is I do want to go to Ontario, to Montana, to Texas, to California, to, all these different places, but, it's spreading myself out thin, and it's not good for the research. I would love to go, and I might travel and go do a Discovering Bigfoot show. I'll go from town to town, meeting with people and stuff. I think that would be awesome, and maybe doing little expeditions here and there with people. But it can't be long-term research, and this takes a lot of time, a lot of work. It takes 8 years before you can get, interacting with your troop. That's what happens with primates. So, you got to stay put. You got to stick to your research area. You got to build a relationship with the Sasquatch that you're studying. It's very important. Otherwise, you're, and the timing has to be so right. Do you understand? Like, if I started studying a 15-year-old, and then 4 years into it he turns 19 and he leaves, like Jake left. Oh, I was just getting good with him. I had, in another 4 years I'd have been kicking ass with him, but he's gone. Sorry for your research, right? So Jacob, who I've been interacting with since 2008, he's been coming around. Well, look at, I'm 12 years into it, and Jacob was little when I first saw him, when he was first coming around. I don't know if I saw Jacob when he was little, but he was around. He knows about me, and now it's he's 15, 16. These are the years, right? But there's other Sasquatch in the troop too. Maybe there's females that'll never leave, that have been watching me, that'll be 14 years in a couple years with me, right? So that's why I've been really thinking about the females a lot, and working to build that relationship. Actually, that doesn't work either, though, does it? Because maybe the older adults, I don't know. I'm just thinking about growing up. A female will grow up and leave too, because she's not going to breed with her dad or her brothers, right? So yeah, lots to think about, and it's a big commitment. So come in Quebec soon. Well, not much Sasquatch here. Oh, there's Quebec, and there's Sasquatch in Quebec. There's beautiful terrain. I've talked to many native groups in northern Quebec that have tons of Sasquatch stuff going down there. Jen says, as humans are encroaching more and more on the forest, we're going to be seeing Bigfoot wandering further into our populated areas, or even defending their territory, pushing back. I think that happens, like in the Bugaboos, that happened. So yeah, lots to think about. Do you think they have grooming bathing routine in the warm season? Oh, I just, they'd be around water so much water in the areas I go to. Well, what I mean by, there's a river there's just rivers around a ton that they're going to have to cross to go to do places. There's lakes all over the place. I'm talking in the Pacific Northwest that I know of. I've never really, it's hard to find an area where you say I'm 40 miles from a river or a water source, right? So they're going to be around that a lot. Jumping in the water's fun, so, but regular bathing and stuff, no, I can't see them living like that. They just do what's fun, enjoy themselves when they can. If they get stinky, I think if they get stinky, they're going to want to clean themselves. They're just going to be hygienic. I think it's just natural. So, my opinion. Stephanie Bristow says, do you think they have, well, that's the same one. Bernie, hi Todd, are there different types of Sasquatch? I don't know. Psychologies, temperament. Yeah, every Sasquatch is going to be different, like a dog. You can go get two Rottweilers, and one's vicious and mean and nasty, and the other one's just an absolute sweetheart. So it's not unlike people even. So, in fact, you're going to probably get a wider diversity of personality types, because their personalities there's so much to them. They're so intelligent. You're going to get tons and tons, and so many things. Is a Sasquatch going to be angry and hateful because someone shot his kid and hate people all his life, right? So, yes, and maybe a Sasquatch will be raised by a Sasquatch that hates people. So different groups is going to be ton. That's why I go into an area, and if a Sasquatch group doesn't like me, I don't ask why. I just leave. So, Todd, can I ask you what you do with donations? What the goal is? So that's Brienne. What I do with donations? I buy equipment. I do expeditions. I do recon. You know, I wreck cameras. This is the last camera that I have. So and it's not working very well. So yeah, there's so much money. Gosh, the donations really, truthfully, don't cover half my gas. You know what I mean? So there's so much money that I spend. But the goal is to get the species discovered, recognized. The goal is to have primatologists studying the species, universities studying the species. The court case cost me $10,000 on the last court case I did. I have to be specific, right? Because there was the species protection. Man, that cost me 20 grand. So it just helps a little bit. It does a little bit. So the expeditions are great because the time I get to go out with people, and it's the expeditions. I keep doing them, and this might be the last year too, because I have so many. Now I have like 40 expeditioners that are experienced that have been out with me. I can only take 25 people at the most a year. So, I'm next year I might be saying no to expeditioners. Once this COVID stuff goes, because again, 80% of my people are from the U.S. So it's huge. The United States is way bigger into this than the Canadians are. My donations are almost primarily the United States. The popularity of my videos are United States. So I don't really even, to be honest, I don't really feel. The Canadians have healthcare and the Americans have a very intricate military machine. I don't feel. The border doesn't mean much to me. People are people, and I love the United States. The United States is amazing. It's beautiful. I love it there. So, Todd, you're the man. So excited for the doc. Yeah, the doc will be coming out. Paul says $3,500. Wow, what a con. All it makes sense now. This is a lame video. Wow. So Paul thinks that it's a big con because it's $3,500 is what new expeditioners will pay. That covers your food. That covers the trailer. You know what, Paul? Don't know much about camping and going out, do you? Like, my cost is just my cost of food, because you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the trailer, the gas, driving around, the equipment damage. Not even thinking about the equipment damage. Just like I took people up for $1,500 a person in my first year, and I lost so much money. Oh my God, it was such a loss. Because when you account in, it wrecked. My whole suspension of my Jeep was wrecked. It was a Patriot, and it's not designed to drive down. We probably did 3,000 kilometers on nasty roads with the suspension just going like crazy. It wrecked my whole suspension, so I can't even drive that Patriot. I won't do that anymore. And then the electric bikes and the equipment, and it's so much. The permits to do it all. I mean, when you do the math, like just to have a hotel or rent a trailer, and then pay for all your food, and it's a hell of a deal. I I have no problem with it at all. So actually, I feel very good about it. It's been wonderful, and I'm very very happy. So Paul, don't come out. You know what, Paul? I wouldn't take you out anyways. You're not. Wow. And the people that get to come out with me are so awesome. It's an experience of a lifetime. We have so much fun. I've made so many. Some of my best friends now are expeditioners. Really, like these people are amazing. I've met the most amazing men and women, and that's why I keep doing them, because the people that I meet. And yeah, people just have no idea how much work it is. I talk to 90% of people don't even come. So if I talk to 100 people, and this is like an hour on the phone, 10 actually come through and come out. So it's so much work, the expedition. You have no idea. I just think about all the work I do and all the, oh my God, it's so much work. And if you go out to go hunt an elk or something, go do that. They don't guarantee you. They don't have anywhere near the odds of success that I do, and they'll charge you 20 grand. So go look into your outfitters. Outfitting is very expensive. It's a lot. The wilderness will kick your ass, and but I love it. Who is that? Darren? Darren, what are you doing giving me a donation on here? Maniac. Thanks for the donation, Darren. Mostly went to YouTube. Darren is an expeditioner from Calgary who's fantastic. And then I see another donation, so I'll scroll down to you guys. Splash Bordeaux, what am I, 45 minutes? Only got 50 minutes left. Hi, Todd. Have you considered using wind chimes? No, I wouldn't do that. I don't like that sound. It's very unnatural. Let's go down a little bit here. See, Glasgow Lass, you... yeah, definitely my dog and his job in one spot and got... Oh, I'm not talking about that. Andy, Todd, could the key to Sasquatch discovery be with women? Yeah, it's just been... The whole woman thing's been hard. So I've been trying, and I think, yeah, Diane Fossey, Jane Goodall, Broody Gattigas, those are the greatest primatologists ever. I know Ian Redmond did an amazing job, but I would love to get... And I do. I'm very agreeable to get women. I try really hard. It's just it's been difficult. Miss your long hair and the beard. Me too. I miss it. Jill says I would like a true experience that I believe I had with a Sasquatch. Fantastic. Congratulations. That's amazing. Oh my God, so many questions. Eric, hopefully the government can release information on Sykesville, Maryland incident. That's the Bigfoot Roswell, in my opinion. Hopefully the government will release it. Well, that's awesome. I'd like to learn about that. Can you send that to me? Just even, what's the other email address? bigfootencounter@gmail.com. Amanda, do you know about the Sykesville, Maryland incident? I don't know anything about that. I think that's where Mel's from, is Maryland. It's been a while since I talked to Mel. Also, new equipment. Love the blimp drone better. FLIR equipment. Yeah, oh my God. Equipment is so expensive, guys. So much. Equipment costs just absolutely annihilate me. It's so much. Look at the questions here. Renee, Jake seems so well groomed and others seem to have matted hair. Do you think some families groom each other? Well, that's a good question. But you know what, Renee? When you really look, Jake isn't any more well groomed than a bear. Look at a deer, an elk. They look like they're beautiful. I've seen deer wake up in the morning and walk off, and I'm like, man, your hair looks perfect. So, but yeah, Jake he looks good. But again, bears don't often look matted up. So, yeah, interesting. And maybe they do groom each other. They're a troop, right? Gorillas groom each other. Chimpanzees sure do that. Todd needs to be realistic about the way money is spent because of the cost. Andy, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, I have so many people go, oh, blah, blah, blah. I had a new partner that was managing for me. She's like, why? Whoa, it's so much money. And then she saw the spending involved. When you do it legitimately, she's like, oh, you're barely making, yeah, barely. Like, it's a lot. There's a lot of money. Like, you have to have, do you think satellite phones are free? On my first year's expedition, I don't carry the satellite phone. So Scout, who a wonderful man, slips in the river, gets wet. So much for that satellite phone, $1,500, right? It's just, you have no idea. My electric bikes, just to get them tuned up this year, was times 4, 2, so it was like $2,000 to get my electric bikes tuned up. My trailer needed all new brakes, and then the toilet wasn't working, and it's just like the expenses, the leaf spring broke over here. Like, you have no idea the costs. It's outfitters charge so much more than me. So I just, you know what? I'm not worried about it. I have all the expeditioners that I need. For you people that think it's not worth it, don't do it. Go come to Canada, go rent a trailer, and go buy your own food, and you'll see that it'll cost you, $10,000 for a week, and you go, oh, it really is? Yeah, it is. It's expensive to do things legally, and I can't be. I have to pay for my permits. I have to have everything. There's so much to do. It's wow, it's a lot. So, but anyways, who made these donations here? I can't find. It was in euros too. So Northwest Olympic. Ooh, things bouncing around here. Daryl, what do you? Daryl, you shouldn't even ask me a question. Why are you asking me questions, Daryl? You can just call me. Daryl's like a friend. He calls me. He probably just sent me a text. Andy, thank you lots. Cody's video soup. Does Sasquatch befriend any type of animals? Ooh, like pets. I heard about that, like with wolves. But I've never. Even I've heard about that with ravens, befriending them and having pet ravens and stuff. I've never seen any evidence of that, and I don't think the stories, the sightings were something I would go, that looks very authentic. It just seemed the evidence was very weak. So no, I don't think so. I don't think they do. But and have a pet is to domesticate something, right? And that's not good in the wilderness. You don't want to domesticate anything. So it's very bad to domesticate things. So would he? I don't even think Sasquatch would have like friendships with. You got to keep the wolves at bay, away from your elk. Bears, you don't keep a bear. Bear's a wild animal. Mountain lion pet, no way. They're wild. Even animals they have to have a certain aggression just to survive. You can't. I don't know. You have to understand that in the wilderness, it's not about domestication. It's about being wild. That's how you survive. You don't domesticate things, so just not appropriate. And yeah, Sasquatch are so at equilibrium with the wilderness that no, I just don't say anything. Thomas Brown, I'm glad you said about going on a guided trip to Paul, because it's a lot, guys. It's a lot. You do the math, and it's a tough business to do. So, but I really love it so much. It's just so freaking. It's so fun. I love meeting the people, and man, I'm so happy with the expeditions. So I really only thought to do them and even after that first year when it was a huge loss, my wife almost strangled me. She was like, "Oh my God!" When she showed me the numbers after, she was like, "Man, we lost so much money." I was like, it was supposed to be at least covering my time, and it was a total loss, like loss. But we reworked it, and just because of the people that we met, the friends that I made. Like I'm an uncle now to Cody's son, Harvey. I'm Uncle Todd now because Cody's my friend. I can go to Alabama, I can go to Georgia. I got friends going off to Phoenix because of the friends that I have, and I've just these amazing people. It's just so much. It's enriched my life. It's an expedition that I really met Jeff Meldrum on. Do you understand that? It's an expedition that I met Survivor Man on. That's how I know these people. I never had dinner with Jeff ever. I met him at his at the university, at Idaho State University, to show him the evidence. That's in the documentary. But we had breakfast once at the Sasquatch Summit. But beyond that, it's all about expeditions. We spent the nights together and the days together, and we hiked around, and that's how I know John Bennernagel. I was never at John Bennernagel's house. I never went to his property. He was at my house. He spent the night in my hot tub, because he was so tired. But I mean, he came to my house after an expedition, because he wanted to sleep in a bed. He was exhausted. And then the next day, he went in the hot tub and got cleaned up, and then he went home. So my relationships with my mentors, some of my best friends, are all just in the bush expedition. I don't think I've had maybe 2 expeditioners at the house that I'm in now, and all these friends of mine. It's all about in the bush, and that is such a wonderful way to meet people and socialize with people, and you really see somebody's mettle. I saw an expeditioner once. He told me, I won't name any names, but he says, "I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified, but I will not run away, and if a Sasquatch comes around, I will be here." And literally at night, a squirrel made a little sound, and he jumped out of his seat and sat his ass right beside him. He's like, "What was that?" And it's a squirrel. He's like, "Oh my God," because it's scary at night. But I just respected and admired the fact that he never quit. He was there to do that expedition. He wants to come back. He's going to do it again. This guy's traveled all over the world. It was his favorite vacation of all time, you know. So yeah, it's you just get to know people, and their true character comes out. Gosh, I had John one time got really upset and freaked out at me because he thought I took him back a different way than we came. I took him back in a shorter way to get back, but it was bushwhacking. And he was like, "We're going the wrong way. You don't have a damn compass. You have no equipment. You're just going based on your instincts. We're gonna get lost, and in an hour it's gonna get dark." And Jeff Meldrum was there for that, where he snapped. And this is a wildlife biologist PhD. It was my first day out with him, and I was like, "Just give me one more hour, John, and you'll see the road. We're gonna hit not the road, but the trail. The game trail is one more hour in this direction." And but that, you understand how that built the relationship, because in 1 hour, actually it was in 30 minutes, we hit the game trail, and he was like, "Okay, so." And then a couple days later, he was still cautious of me, because man, it's scary people don't know me. Survivor Man doesn't know me, and I'm his guide, and I can get us killed, I can get us lost, I can do stupid as crap, avalanche. There's a million mistakes that you can make when you're out there. And but the trust and the bond that's earned, even the fact that John did go another 45 minutes to the game trail, he trusted me enough to do that. That is just it means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. So Lithuania Glock, do you think Sasquatch is related to the orangutan, the orange orangutan, President Trump? Nope. I think that's a joke. And do you think that's why Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau will not give Sasquatch protection? I don't know. It's funny stuff. It's all good. Kelly Burns, don't worry, Todd. Just throw me a little food. Well, I was just talking to a guy who wants to come on expedition today. He's like, well, if I bring my own food, and you can't bring your own food, because if you have food in your backpack, if you have food in your truck, a bear will go in your backpack. A bear will rip your truck apart. I do things very, very, very specifically. Like I have special containers. We burn the containers. All the food's put in a special spot. It's sprayed with chemical Lysol, and the garbage is removed every 3 days. Like, you have to understand, I've seen bears. A guy left a piece of cheese in his Volkswagen, and a grizzly bear went right through it, tore his whole thing, ripped the seat off, and got that piece of cheese. Like, they'll smell. Their sniffers are incredible, and I'm prepared now. I'm financially prepared to have a bear go through my trailer, because I leave my trailer out in the bush. I leave it there all season. I can't take it in and out. It's way too much work. It's way too dangerous. It's freaking hard. Get a trailer out there. Most people couldn't get a trailer where I put my trailer. In fact, I've never seen trailers where I put my trailer. It's a hell of a spot to get it to. It's very, very difficult. And I had to blow 2 tires on my truck to get it out there. Luckily the trailer tires held up. But I have to control those things. I tell people, wash your backpack that you're bringing, and don't put any food in it. Because if you have an apple and it goes bad, you'll be walking down the trail, it'll stink up the trail, and a bear, all these, you have no idea how much work it's been to never have an injury or an attack. You understand, I've taken people out. There's over 100 people that I've taken out on expeditions now. Like, and I'm talking dumbass idiots from film crews. They're stupid and arrogant and try not to listen to me, and I have to argue with them. Where are you going now? Well, you're going to go get a shit. No, you're not. You can't go over there. We just saw a bear over there, you twit, and the bear might be circling. Get your ass back over here. Like, I argue with people, especially dumbass the film guys. I can't screen Discovery Channel. I can't screen the networks that come out here, because I do shows once in a while. And they bring morons out, and some of these guys are arrogant, and it's frustrating, but no one has ever been harmed, and it's been a hell of a lot of work to do that. Working with Survivor Man and his crew was easy. They listen. I mean, Les has got his people in line. It was just such a gift to work with somebody like that. But most of these people are from cement and Los Angeles and New York City. Like, I'm talking in New York City. They don't know anything about the wilderness and how dangerous it can be. And I had one person I was trying to explain to them that the bears aren't behind fences. And they go, but I've seen bears in Banff pictures, and always behind a fence. Yeah, there's a fence on the highway. And a lot of people stop on the highway, and that fence helps keep the animals off the highway. But when you go in the bush, there's no fence. And she's like, but what about the fence? There's no fence. She goes, so you're walking where the bears can walk? Yeah, they're everywhere. They can walk right up to you. When they decide to come up to you, there's nothing that stops them. They do whatever they want. It's their home. We're the visitors. Like, I don't know, are people confused about that? There's no fences. When you're walking down a trail, a mountain lion can attack you anytime it wants. You're in his habitat. If you make a mistake, and it's really the native people. It's all the native people. It's the woodland Cree that have taught me how to move, how to survive. Those people know, and their teachings work because I've spent over 1,000 days in the backcountry, uninjured to date. So not to say something, but anyways, it's I've been tremendously successful, and it's 100% because of what the natives have taught me. You better believe it. I didn't learn one thing from any book, any science. Even I've read those bear safe books and stuff. My teacher Muskwa was like light years ahead of that. They were, it's good stuff, and it's, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but what the natives know about animals and how to evade them and coexist with them is a better word. Not about, you can't hide from a bear. He's going to smell you. I tell people every single day we go out, there's going to be 2 or 3 bears and 2 or 3 mountain lions that pick up our scent and are aware of us, and they will decide whether they're going to hunt and stalk us and kill us or not. And we're going to act in a certain way. We're going to do things in a certain way. We're going to have certain behaviors, and we're going to be cautious in certain areas because we're doing everything we can to decrease. I tell people, you're not filming a bear. If you ever pull out a camera and try to film a bear on an expedition with me, you're going to hear me swear. Like, you're going to die. We don't film bears. Well, and I did last year. We filmed the grizzly. But you got to understand, that bear was just munching on food. He was 200 yards away, and we were at the truck. If anything happened, if he gave a single sign of discomfort with us, we were getting the hell out of there. We were in the truck. We would have been in that truck, and the truck doors were left open. So everybody was prepared at any moment to jump in the truck, close the door, and drive. So that's how safe that was. If we didn't have the truck there, there's no filming bears and mountain lions. They're dangerous. They can kill people. You don't do it. We immediately, even a hike will get ruined. Hey, we're going down this trail. Oh, there's a grizzly bear eating a deer. Hike's over for the day, ladies and gentlemen, and that's happened. And, the whole hike, the whole plan of the day, it's all ruined. But we survived. Hallelujah. We don't have to deal with a bear trying to kill us. So that's the priority. That's the number one thing you need to do, is you need to survive and come home uninjured. And I don't even want to, if a lot of dumb mistakes you can make, well, I have to shoot a bear now. I have to shoot a mountain lion. And just because you made a dumbass mistake, you did something foolish, someone brings out a bag of hot dogs and then drops a hot dog wrapper, and a bear will come along, in case you don't know this. If he smells a hot dog wrapper, he licks it, he gets a scent of it, he's going to come after the source of that, and that's you in the trailer. You're going to follow that thing, and he's going to come to you, and if you don't have a hot dog, you're the hot dog. So none of that stuff ever. I tell people when they're eating nuts, you drop a nut on the floor, you drop a nut on the ground, you frickin' well tell me. You drop something, we have to take care of that area, because a bear comes along and has, look, a little sunflower seed. That's delicious. Where's the source of that sunflower seed? Oh, it's that man in that trailer. He's food. It's that serious. So we don't make any of those mistakes. I run a very, very tight ship, and my record speaks for itself. Try to find one single person in the whole world that's been injured in any way, shape, or form on my expeditions. No twisted ankles, no blown knees, no falling rocks have fallen on him, no animal attacks, nothing. And I've taken out over 100 people into the hardcore backcountry wilderness. Record speaks for itself. Have a good day. So, but to be honest too, there's another side of it. We're going into Sasquatch habitat. It's Sasquatch habitat. There's really not many mountain lions. The wolf pack doesn't live here. Not like they're dangerous. And bears get the hell out of Sasquatch habitat. So that's another little secret of mine. My numbers don't make any sense. The police, when I went missing, the police reamed my ass out. They go, 1 in 10 days people go out there, they get seriously injured, and 1 in 20 days they die and don't come back. So if you spend 20 days out in the wilderness, odds are you're a dead man. You spend 40 days, you're extremely likely to be dead. You spend 100 days, and you're dead. Those are the stats. Those are the odds. Here I am 1,000 days in the backcountry. uninjured. So it's because I'm mostly in Sasquatch habitat, and it's because I follow the rules of the native people. And believe me, they know. They lived out here. They used to skin animals and have, all kinds of food. They would bury bodies and the bears wouldn't eat them. Coyotes wouldn't touch them. How'd they do that? I know. And I teach that stuff. Hey, Ashley. That's Ashley from Washington. I hope things are going good for you, Ashley. I have been speaking to her once in a while. Andy says, Todd, if Sasquatch could communicate with you, do you think they would say, what do you think they'd say to us? So, what would they say to us? Why are you people so blind? Can't you see? Yeah, it's because the wilderness is so beautiful and we're destroying it and wrecking it and they see all the damage. Why? What is it? I think this is what the first thing a Sasquatch would say to me. What is the matter with you people? I think that would be the first thing that would come out of his mouth. Like, I just don't. What is the matter with you? Why do you do these things to yourselves? Why? I don't understand. A Sasquatch knows that a young deer, a young elk is the best, tenderest, best. Everybody, you must know that. Young chickens are best. You don't eat old hens. Prime beef is the best. That's a young beef. You don't let a bull get old. People, this is what Sasquatch see. So hunters go out and they kill an old buck whose meat is like not even worth hamburger. And then you take the head. It's like the worst part of the worst animal. And he would just shake it. Why? Why would you take the worst part? You take the head. That's the worst part to eat. You don't eat the head. Why'd you take the hooves too? It doesn't make any sense, right? But that's what trophy hunters do, and the Sasquatches don't understand. Why do I see people staring at these boxes all day? What's on the box? And everybody, I see old and young people go anywhere, and they're all just staring at the box. The box is life, and the Sasquatch would be like, what's the matter with you? Why do you stare at a little box that has lights on it? Like, are you guys, they just don't understand us. And, I've been in just a lot of personal pain last year especially, and the Sasquatch won't come and help me, and they won't come and I was hoping that they would come and be spiritual with me and take me to another level and just help, because it's personally it was just a hard year and people are going to find out about all that stuff soon, but they just wouldn't come near me because they don't understand. Why what's the matter? Why do you have this stuff? Even if they could read my mind, they go, that doesn't make any sense. Why would that be happening to you? What kind of a stupid world do you live in? How ridiculously preposterous is this crap that's going on? And it's so bad. And, I don't have to tell you people. Wait till you see what's been going on with me. You'd be like, oh my God, what the hell? Like, this world is crazy with the things that we do. And, that's what I think a Sasquatch would say is, why do you do that to yourselves? Why do you people? And I don't even know the answer to it, Why are there conspiracies? What conspiracies are true? Why, money, why is that so about all and everything? Why do we, people that are so damn rich and they're filthy, stinking, godlessly rich and they just want to get richer and richer and richer? What's the point? You want to just get so rich when you die, you just have money to give away? Anyway, there's so much more joy to life than that. And, that you lose your spirituality, you lose your connectivity. What about your children? What about your family? What about your community? So and the Sasquatch are all about that. They're all about nature and the wilderness and the community of it. They understand these concepts very well, and we're from nature and we're destroying nature. And in nature is the preservation of the world, and the better the nature, the stronger you are. I was just talking about plants and the deep roots of natural plants. If you domesticate a plant, its medicine becomes less, its nutrients become less, it becomes weaker. Its domestication is weak. There's no survival of the fittest there. So, Jamie Atomic says, on your expedition, do you supply bathrobes? No. Sunscreen. Bug spray. What about a wet bar? All kinds of food. No drinking on my expeditions of any kind, though. And it's hard for it, even coffee. I do coffee, but yeah. So, just a couple more questions. I'm sorry about the donation. I didn't know who. I know Darren gave a donation, so thank you, Darren. And YouTube thanks you because they get most of that money. But anyways, Atomic, and I appreciate YouTube. I'm happy. These live videos have been going good, huh? The connections have been fantastic now, so I found a way to make it better. So just a couple more questions. Hey Todd, I want to know more about the Sasquatch that shoved you in the dark. Okay. Yeah. What I learned, so that was that day. So I'll talk about that a little bit. So I was I actually got footage of Sasquatch that night. The Sony cam I was using was amazing. I don't know why. I didn't know much about the camera, but it was really impressive at night. It did really impressive night footage. It was in poor quality, but anyways, I was filming a female Sasquatch who was eating berries in a big berry area, Saskatoon berries that were tall, and she didn't run at all. And I thought, wow, this is great. She's just not running at all. This is awesome. Look at what I can do. And she made one sound, woo, like that, and then she didn't move. She was looking at me like she was like, you know what it reminded me of is Puss in Boots. There's a cat that goes, oh, oh. She's like, man, she looked at me. She's like, man, you are in trouble. You were in the wrong place, boy. And here I am going, oh, I'm getting footage. Ah. And I didn't realize this is the wild bunch. This is the radium bunch. And I was in the wrong spot because she wasn't running anywhere. And she made that little sound. And it wasn't a sound, though. I'm sure she has like a connection. Like she'd even, I don't know. But anyways, she made that sound. And Sasquatch just started coming. And they surrounded me. And they were throwing debris at me. And then the big male came up the hill. And I tell you, I dropped that camera. The camera just was nothing to me. It was all about my survival. And anyways, the Sasquatch that was chasing me in the dark, I don't know what Sasquatch that was. I don't know the individual. But I just learned that you don't run from any predator, ever. And Sasquatch are predators. You don't run from them. And I was panicking. And but the other thing too is remember, like if you run from a bear, he's gonna really hurt you. You run from a wolf or a mountain lion, they're gonna hurt you. Like they're gonna jump on you with claws and possibly kill you. The Sasquatch wasn't doing that to me though, but he was really they were feeding off of my panic and my fear, and and I've seen that with chimpanzees and gorillas too. They don't respect that. They don't like that fear. And the more panicky I got, the more he was just on me. And he also he was really showing his dominance because I can run fast, guys. I've got good legs and I can run really well through the bush. And I was moving good. He just ran right beside me. Like I remember like I'd try to maneuver away and he would just stay like so close to me. It was ridiculous. Like two horses riding alongside each other in an open area, and it wasn't open though, it was close and tight, and he was like, man, I could run this fast, no problem. He stayed right with me, and then he just gave me a little bump in the back, and it was right on the upper end of my back. It toppled me, and yeah, he just stayed right on top of me. And then what made him stop and give me some space was after I jammed my leg. I got stabbed by that fallen down tree. He kind of just, I jumped over the tree, and then he gave me a little space. I didn't start to run again. And then I kind of turned and looked at him, and there were trees in between the two of us. It was terrifying. I mean, he was just like stalking me, and there was only one that I could see. Like there was one that was close. There were probably multiple individuals around me, but that guy was just like stalking me. Even in my mind right now, just got goosebumps thinking about, so that my leg is bleeding. I jump over that log, and he's literally one tree away from me, and I could just see him come out. And right now, just goosebumps just popping up. I could see him come out from the tree and he just had a look at me like he was just like, yeah, let's do this. Come on, boy. And he had like a look, and he was moving low and stalking, and he was big though. He was huge. He was enormous, and just that movement, that stop, and knowing that he's there for me, knowing that he just hit me, and it was 3 times that he knocked me down, and the third time I hit that tree. It was almost like he bashed me into it too. Now that I think about it, he must have directionally bumped me that way because was going in a different direction. I didn't want to go to that down tree. He bumped me right into it. Man, it stabbed me. Like the wood hit my bone. The reason that the branch, it was a busted branch. The reason it stopped, it was thick though. It was about probably 1.5 inches. The reason it stopped is it hit bone. It went right through my flesh, and I could feel it go boom on my bone in my leg. Boom! Ugh! Like it cracked the bone. Didn't damage the bone, but it hit. You know, I could feel it. And then I pulled it right out. You're panicking. So I pulled it out, and then about 2 minutes later, I could feel the blood filling up my boot. My boot was all there. I wasn't going through any water, and my boot was going. So it just filled right up with blood. And yeah, after I saw him stalking through those trees, you know what? I didn't want to look at him again. So I slowed down and I started moving more cautiously. I started moving intelligently. And yeah, when I got a little more control and I started acting less panicky, he just kept a little more distance from me. I mean, he was there. And then, you know, probably an hour later, I mean, it's just dark, is when I was exhausted. Remember, I hadn't been sleeping properly, and I don't eat. So, and I need to eat. I'm a 230-pound guy, you know, and I don't have much body fat. See, when you stop eating, you stop drinking and eating, you stop peeing, and you stop defecating. And that's, if you pee or you defecate, that scent's going to be everywhere. Everything's going to know where you are. So that's part of the secret to sneak up on them is stop eating, stop drinking. I stopped drinking, guys. Like, I'm goddamn dehydrated. And then you get into this fight or flight mode, and you have no calories to burn. You're you know, and once that adrenaline rush comes down, I just felt weak, you know. I was really, really weak and, you know, shaking like this, but you're in fight or flight mode. And, you know, that's about it. I think after about 10 minutes after I calmed down, he had so much space between us. And again, I wasn't looking for him though. I just kept looking forward. I didn't want to look back anymore. And he was just terrifying to see that. That's the second most terrifying thing I've ever seen from Sasquatch, I think. There's been a couple, I guess. It's in the top 3 for sure. Just the way he was moving. One of the scariest things I ever saw was when it was infrared night vision. It's U.S. military grade night vision. I think it's generation 4. That's just not. I think it's just coming out now, but I had it like a long time ago. Anyways, I remember. It's where the Apple hand grab is. It was on the camera. Anyways, I remember being out in the bush one night, and I looked over and I saw a Sasquatch sneaking up on me, and oh my god, it was like something out of a horror movie. Where he was slow and he's creeping. He looked mean. He's just a mean face. He's like Kubota mean, and he was sneaking in on me. And it's like he thought I couldn't see him. They're looking at him like, beat me up, Scotty. Mommy, I want to go home. I do Sasquatch research. But it was so terrifying. And what happened was I made a sound and I was like, hey, I see you. And as soon as he could see me and he thought I couldn't see him. And as soon as he's just creeping and sneaking, he's grabbing the ground and he's low and he's so big. And as soon as he knew that I'd seen him, he just stood up and he was like, and I just wanted to go home so badly. But anyways, I tried to make my camera so I could film. And in that 10 seconds to set up my camera, he was gone. But that's definitely my top 3 of just the scariest, like, hair stand up on the back of your neck, most terrifying things I've ever seen with Sasquatch. That's why, you know, like, I have so much respect for the species, and I've been down those roads. When a Sasquatch is just interacting with me and they're being nice, or, you know, even they're bashing and crashing things around, but they're not stalking. And that stalking, the way they move when they're low and they're like stalking and stepping gently and all that, and the agility and power, and you see leg muscles moving with bodies moving. It's just like, and they just fluidly move through the wilderness in a brilliant, silent way. It's incredible to watch, and it's terrifying to see how powerful and strong and agile and adapted they are. It's absolutely incredible the way they move. And you know, I'm listening and I don't hear any sound, and I see that he's stepping and there's no sound, dead silent, nothing. And you think, oh my God, these guys are just like forget ninja. I feel like when you say ninja, it's terribly disrespectful because they're just another level of born and raised and genetically or evolutionarily designed to be quiet and stealthy and intelligent and to survive out there. They know every rock, every nook, every cranny. Can you imagine if they're feeling the rocks that are in the grounds and they've lived there their whole lives and they grew up in that place? Their parents taught them since they were young where to go and how to do things in each rock and nook and cranny. I mean, you can't even imagine the level that they're at. No human beings don't do that. In the history, like natives didn't do that. They didn't know every rock and nook. They traveled around. They had teepees. They were mobile. They moved to follow the bison and to go for the food sources. They were at a decent level, but not like that. Not naked, not connected, not touching it. So thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. That's an hour and 20 minutes. I got tons of stuff to do. You guys are amazing. Thanks for a very, very awesome show again. Thank you for the donations. I really appreciate that. That was wonderful. Darren, you jerk. What are you doing? Don't give me a donation. Talk to me. So buy me lunch again. And Throwback Thursday is going to get done. I was working on it already today. So Throwback Thursday is happening tomorrow. And then Sasquatch Sundays I'm working on. When I figure out how these expeditions are going to fall into place and the timing of everything, then I'll be able to be more specific about, because I don't know how I can do Wednesday live shows when I'm doing expeditions, right? So things are going to change up. We're going to switch things around, and I'll just announce it when I start figuring things out. I had all this planned and done, and then COVID happened. So my whole life has just been spun right upside down, like millions of other people across the world, hundreds of millions of people. I am no different. It's totally spun me, twisted me, turned me, and flipped me, and it's absolutely just. My heart goes out to all the people that are suffering in every way, the people that are getting sick and losing lives, and the people that are having their careers and their businesses destroyed and damaged. My heart goes out to you guys. Let's get through this and let's cooperate as best we can, okay? Thank you so much for tuning in, and I think there's an extremely good chance I'll be back next week doing the Wednesday show. So you guys take care, and thank you for support. Let's get this discovery done. Let's figure it out. This could be the year. All this crap in 2020, all the garbage that's gone on, let's make it the year we discover Sasquatch. Let's do it. Somebody do it. If I can't get it done, hey, Mason Sylvanic, SoCal Forest Ninja, all you guys, Central Michigan Bigfoot, you guys do it. Let's get it done, guys. Let's finish this discovery. Let's make it happen. Let's do something so amazing this year that it'd be the year, forget COVID, it was the year that we discovered the most incredible hominid species that ever existed, and we can do it this year. I move forward. I do this show. I do expeditions because I want this discovery done. The best version of Todd Standing will go out this year and fight for this discovery. And it's right here. Look at this. Mason, Michigan Bigfoot, Central Michigan, all Mason, Bigfoot, Sylvanic, all you guys. Let's go kick some ass. Let's get it done, people. Let's fight for this. And we can do it. You know what I believe? I know Sasquatch is real. I believe we can get this discovery done. Let's do it. Let's make that change. And I look forward